Hey guys, welcome back. BDCKR here. We're back with our weekly recap of all things Injustice. This is for the week of October 16th, 2025. The current character challenge is Blackest Night Hawkgirl. That is a 1 week repeat. The required characters for that are Batman, Joker, and Nightwing, who are available at Gold, Silver, and Bronze tier, respectively, if you're looking at the easiest way to get each of them.
Right.
The lowest tier.
I know you said Hawk Girl because I know who it is this week, but it sounded like Hot Girl.
It's always tough. It's like a weird one to pronounce, right?
Yeah.
And I think we've remarked on this before.
Have I? Okay.
We definitely have. I'm 100% sure we have.
All right.
Her passive is Necrotic Life Force, and it is Hawkgirl receives 15% health back when anyone in the battle is knocked out, and any Blackest Night character who is knocked out on Hawkgirl's team will resurrect once with 20% health. She's got 1,240 attack and 1,360 health.
Right.
She was last available just about a year ago, October 3rd of last year.
Okay, so
a little over a year ago.
I was not actually prepared to talk about it, but as I'm listening to you read out Hawk Girl's passive, I always focus on the second part. The first part, there's 6 people in the fight. Potentially,
5 of them can be useful.
I was thinking 5, and then I think 4. Because once you knock out the last person yourself to down to 5, that's
true.
Doesn't actually
4
matter.
of them can be useful.
So only 4 of them can be useful, so you're getting potentially 60% health back.
Yeah, which isn't bad.
It's not bad, but you have to be winning the fights, in which case, yeah, I guess that's still not bad.
Does getting knocked out, if you have a revive, does using that revive count as a knockout?
I don't know. It's interesting.
We haven't tested that, because it could be more.
Because I've never considered it, is the interesting thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, so she's got high stats. The base stats are kind of uncommon because they're not multiples of 50 or 100, so that's 1240 and 1360, but it's still overall pretty high. Mm-hmm. We've used her now a bunch as both the special specialist, which by default makes her the star of the team, and also as a support character. So we got a long playlist of lots of her videos. That playlist is of basically the Blackest Night team, mostly with her on it. She is part of what makes Blackest Night Flash so annoying, because she gives him a free resurrection just by being on the same team, and his passive makes him get 100% health back when he revives, instead of the usual, what was it that she gives? 20%?
Yeah, 20%.
20%, which is pretty great. So I initially played Hawkgirl as a support character because she doesn't have particularly good basic attacks. So it's an easy decision to gear her like a tank and let her teammates do all the hard lifting, because what she's doing is basically giving you a second Blackest Night Flash if he's on your team.
Yeah, and a revive is a pretty good support passive, to be honest.
And giving it to every teammate, every Blackest Night team, including herself, right? 3 resurrections that requires no gear slots, and clearly her value to the team is magnified by who she's resurrecting. Mm-hmm. But, if you're playing a Blackest Night team, the best feature of it is Blackest Night Flash. He is inherently defensive with a bit of offensive shading, which is maybe part of the reason why I'm not inclined to play the team so much. Lots of offensive potential, but still slower than the teams that I generally like to play. Now, because I'm forcing myself to play with her, and this time around as a special specialist, I've been coming around a little bit on her special 2. I think I spoke about how her special 2 was broken down in the Q&A earlier this week, how there's 2 really sort of the biggish hits and then followed up by 4 maybe small hits. I'm still not impressed by her special 1 because it is very poorly ranged. Mm-hmm. It looks like, listen, what makes it more disappointing is the animation. She gets up in the air, flies, and flies at the opponent. Why does that have to be ranged at all?
Yeah.
There's no need. So you can see why it's bad, because in some fights, despite trying to hit the special 1 immediately on tag-in, I get the gear break effect from Claw of Horrors. I lose my power because of, I guess, Claw of Horrors having an impact, but there's no damage taken by the opponent.
Yeah.
She gives decent damage from her special 2, though. She isn't limited by only being able to knock out the opponent on the last hit, which makes her good. Every single hit has that potential to knock out your opponent, so that gives you all the benefits that come with your special 2 spreading across multiple opponents. Mm-hmm. It also allows you lots more choices for your 3rd gear slot, as we saw on Luchador Bane last week. If you're focused on a special that only knocks out the opponent on the last hit, Enchantress can be a really great option. But the 2 best 3rd gear options, I think, in general for special specialists are probably Claw of Horse and Enchantress Companion Gear.
Yeah, and this is assuming that the first 2 are 10-2 on the Master's Death card.
Yeah. And so you're watching Claw of Horus, pretty darn effective. It's fun. It's got a bit of, it plays nice. It's got a bit of bounce, but it's not necessarily my favorite. And we've sort of adjusted team. It's not a full Blackest Night team because it's just that much better with Hawk Girl Prime on it.
Mm-hmm. We are 77 weeks since the end of a repeating challenge cycle. We are in week 23 of sort of what looks to be the second cycle of an updated one that just has introduced 12 new characters.
Yep.
So we expect to see next week Red Lantern, Hal Jordan, and then a long while from now we'll figure out if the challenge cycle is like new and updated and repeating or something else is going to happen.
Because after that, there's going to be another 30 weeks of just straight repeats and potentially nothing new before we go back to the beginning of the cycle again.
Yep. Yeah. This week's multiplayer reward is Soul Taker Sword, which becomes Ancient Katana, which becomes Soul Taker Sword.
Right.
And when it's maxed out, it gives you a 30% unblockable chance on basic attacks, a 50% life drain chance on special 2, and the evolved ability, which is a 15% damage drain from defeated enemies, which stacks twice.
This is the same math, right? When it says it stacks twice, because you could potentially stack it the third time, but the enemies are all knocked out. There's no point.
Yeah.
It does nothing.
Yeah. Have we checked if the summons, like if Aquaman's special 2, like you take damage from him instead, or like from what's the Joker, Unhinged, Suicide Squad Joker Unhinged?
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Summons might drain it. I feel like we've talked about that when he first came out, but I don't remember what our finding was because we mostly, or not when he came out, when the gear came out.
Yeah.
So this was last available in on the 24th of April.
Yeah.
Of this year.
So what we've done now, so we were sort of up in the air about what was going to happen, and it looks like the last cycle that just finished was the aberration, and they've gone back to the order, because if it had been the messed up order, it would have skipped Soul Taker.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was going back to the original cycle, we're going to get Soul Taker Sword. So Metahuman Flash, instead of being this week, is probably going to be next week.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks before we really can confirm whether it's just completely back to normal or they're going to throw us for another loop. I mean, we played so long and there's so little happening that it feels like we're focusing on the really like
minutia.
Yes, the really gritty of the nitty gritty.
Yeah. So there we go. Moving on to the store, we have the Red Lantern Hal Jordan Challenge Pack that comes with 200,000. It costs 200,000 power credits, and it gives you a 6.16% chance of getting Red Lantern Hal Jordan.
You know what I just realized? Talking about the whole cycle, I completely forgot to talk about the Soul Taker Sword.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Life drain chance on special 2, nothing particularly special. Lots of gears that are better at that. Unblockable chance on basic attacks is pretty great. There's not a lot of gears that have unblockable chance that's not specific to a skin.
It's slightly worse than specials because if they do block, they can just start whacking you back.
Right.
But it happens enough where you would have, instead of getting whacked back by a combo, you have the opportunity to just continue your combo on them. So it's nice whenever it comes up.
Yeah, the standard ability is the 15% damage drain from defeated enemies. Normally when you're fighting other characters at about your level, it is less meaningful because you can get boosted damage from other gears, even though the other gears boosted damage is specific usually to basics or to specials. 15% as a number is pretty low unless you're fighting characters that are much higher stats, which you will find in Survivor.
So in the single player modes.
Yeah, so it's worth it's probably one of the best gears. We used it pretty effectively in our
one of the best gears for Survivor specifically.
Yeah, when we used our, we did that video on how to finish Survivor back when it was still only, I think, 16 fights.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's pretty good. It takes a bit of work to try to make sure that the Soul Taker Sword character is the one that knocks out the opponent to get the benefit of it. But once you do, that 30% boost makes a huge amount of difference.
Mm-hmm. So there we go.
Yeah, so I'm going to recommend, though, that maybe I'll link that in the description, or how to beat Survivor video.
For sure. Okay, so the Red Lantern Hal Jordan Challenge Pack, 200,000 credits. You get a 6.16% chance of getting Red Lantern Hal Jordan, as opposed to your regular 2.86% chance of getting him. In addition to that, 2.86% chance of getting any a given challenge character in the pack, right?
Yeah.
It is not worth it unless you are selling back basically every other character. If you want, a variety of challenge characters as rewards, then you are better off just buying it and keeping what you get and buying more packs to eventually build up your collection. It's only really worth it if you only want Red Lantern Hal Jordan. And even in that case, you'd probably want to be using a glitch, right? So that you can refund it and essentially just use that to save time if you're like pulling for Red Lantern Hal Jordan specifically.
Right. And I've never really looked at the math. It feels like when I do that, I want to pull maybe 3 or 4 packs before resetting it, because the time that it takes to reset
is long.
It's significant, but the amount that you got to balance that against the amount that you're going to spend and potentially waste for getting one copy.
I feel like the math really just doesn't work out that well on that. Yeah. We also have the Sorcery Pack 1 in the shop. That is for $24.99 Canadian. Prices in Canadian because that's the currency we have access to.
And that's the only currency that matters.
Mm-hmm. And that comes with Zatanna, Raven, and Kondak Black Adam. These are all challenges. Zatanna was missing for a while, but is back now in the new cycle. So now I think they're all available to play for and earn in the challenge cycle. We also have in its second week the character bundle Woman of Power, and I think that's everything noteworthy that's new.
Right.
Moving on to Fandom Zone, it is finished for this week. It should be back next week for its 2-week on cycle.
Yeah.
Fight 62 is broken. Last weekend's breakthrough for golds was Killer Croc, Harley Quinn, and Martian Manhunter. So we expect this weekend's to be Hawk Girl, Green Lantern, and Lobo, which is nice, given the fact that she's a challenge right now.
Right.
It's a good opportunity if you want to, get somebody to Elite 10 and you've got some time to burn.
Right. So as far as current glitches go, we go into a lot of detail every time something significant changes, which... Spoiler.
I think you missed, actually. We have a link in the description to the thread of the breakthrough cycle if you want to check that out for yourself.
I'm busy. All right,
Devil 16. That's okay. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
Check the description if you want goodies. There's stuff in there that might be useful to you. Yeah.
And speaking of checking the description, that's what I was going to say after, is that if nothing changes, you can see in the description a link to our playlist where we have all our current working glitches. And even if nothing changes, we will just talk about things in a little bit more detail once a month. Most recently, that was a recap from October 2nd. And I think that's it. Well, no, the main thing actually is that the current challenge character has been confirmed that the glitch to reset it is working with her Blackest Night Hawk Girl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there you go. That does it for us this week. We'd like to give a huge thank you to our lovely patrons on Patreon who still give us money every month, even if we played a little fast and loose with the tempo and the
order
and the informational order for these weekly recaps. So that's a huge thank you to Michael Devries, Irvin, Ruiz, Hoshi 127, Nora Klimek, and Miguel, who are supporting us on the credited level. Thank you so much for your support, and thanks so much to all of you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Komoda.